If you're over 60, you've probably noticed that mornings can feel a little different than they used to. Maybe you wake up feeling stiff. Maybe your energy takes a while to kick in, or perhaps you find yourself reaching for that extra cup of coffee just to get moving. I want you to know you're not alone. I hear this every single day from my patients here in the States. Morning energy, especially after 60, isn't just about getting up and going anymore. It's about setting the tone for your whole day, protecting your health, and feeling good from the inside out. Imagine starting your morning in a way that leaves you energized without the mid-morning slump, clear-headed without relying on sugar or caffeine, and emotionally balanced so you actually look forward to your day. I'm going to walk you through how to make that happen, step by step, with habits that are easy, enjoyable, and proven to work for seniors right here in our country. Good morning, my friends. I'm so glad you're here because what we do in the first hour after waking can shape everything. Our mood, our focus, even how our body responds to stress and illness. In this video, we're going to explore 7 morning habits that are especially powerful after age 60. These are the same strategies I recommend to my patients, and the ones I've seen bring real improvements in their daily lives. By the end of our time together, you'll know how to wake up with more energy, protect your heart and brain health, keep your joints more comfortable, and even improve your emotional well-being. And don't worry, I'll keep everything simple and practical, because I know none of us need complicated routines at this stage of life. Let's start with the very first habit, how you wake up. Many people over 60 tell me they jump straight out of bed as soon as the alarm goes off, but the truth is, your body needs a gentler transition. When you wake up, your blood pressure is adjusting, your muscles are stiff, and your balance isn't at its best. So instead of rushing, I want you to sit on the edge of your bed for a minute or two. Roll your shoulders gently, take a few deep breaths, and let your circulation catch up. Think of it like warming up the engine before you drive. As you're sitting there, consider practicing gratitude, just naming one thing you're thankful for. It might be as simple as the roof over your head, the sound of birds outside, or even the cup of coffee you're about to enjoy. Starting the morning with gratitude has been shown to lower stress hormones and boost mood throughout the day. Now, once you're standing, hydration is key. A lot of seniors I talk to don't realize they're dehydrated first thing in the morning. Overnight, you lose water just from breathing, and dehydration can make you feel sluggish, dizzy, or even confused. Instead of heading straight for coffee, try a glass of water first. If plain water feels boring, squeeze in some lemon. Not only does it taste refreshing, but it helps wake up your digestion. After you've had that first glass of water, then enjoy your morning coffee or tea if that's part of your routine. But here's the important part. Don't let caffeine be your only source of energy. Think of it as a gentle boost, not a crutch. I've seen many seniors who drink 2 or 3 cups just to feel awake, and later in the day they crash. Instead, combine that morning beverage with something nourishing, even if it's just a small bite, like a banana, oatmeal, or a slice of whole grain toast with a bit of nut butter. Nutrition in the morning doesn't need to be heavy. In fact, a light breakfast often works better for energy because it fuels you without slowing you down. I like to remind people, your body is like a car engine. Give it the right fuel, and it'll run smoothly. Dump in the wrong stuff or skip the fuel altogether, and you'll sputter through the day. Another habit that makes a tremendous difference is movement. I don't mean a full workout, I mean gentle stretches or a short walk. Even 5 to 10 minutes can help. For my patients who struggle with stiffness, I often suggest doing some gentle stretches right there in the living room. Reach your arms overhead, gently twist side to side, and march in place for a minute. These little movements pump blood through your muscles, loosen up your joints, and tell your brain, it's time to wake up. If you're lucky enough to live near a safe walking path or even just a quiet sidewalk, step outside. There's something powerful about morning light. Natural sunlight helps reset your body clock, improves mood, and actually boosts vitamin D, which we know is critical for bone strength and immune health. If the weather isn't great, stand near a bright window while you stretch. Even that little exposure to natural light can lift your energy. Now let's talk about the mental side of things. So many seniors I meet in my clinic tell me their mornings start with worry. They turn on the news, check bills, or start thinking about everything that could go wrong that day. And by the time they finish breakfast, they already feel drained. I always encourage them to flip that routine around. Instead of starting with stress, start with calm. That could mean a short meditation, listening to soft music, or reading a few verses of a devotional book if faith is part of your life. These few minutes create a calm foundation, so when challenges come later in the day, you're stronger and more centered. Let me share a story. One of my patients, a retired teacher from Ohio, used to wake up and immediately scroll through her phone. She admitted to me she'd feel anxious before she even got dressed. Together, we shifted her morning habit. She agreed to leave her phone in another room and start her day by sitting on her porch with tea. She told me later, "Doctor, I feel like my mornings finally belong to me again." That simple change gave her more energy and less stress throughout the day. And that brings me to another essential morning habit: breathing. Breathing might sound too simple to matter, but the way we breathe can shift our entire nervous system. Try this. Sit comfortably, inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, hold for a count of 2, then exhale gently through your mouth for a count of 6. Do that 4 or 5 times. And notice how your shoulders drop, your heart rate slows, and your mind clears. I call this reset breathing, and I've seen patients use it before doctor's appointments, family gatherings, and even while stuck in traffic. In the morning, it's like pressing the reset button before you take on the day. Now, once your body and mind are awake, it's time to think about what you want your day to look like. I don't mean planning every little detail, but having 1 or 2 intentions. Maybe you want to connect with a friend, finish a small home project, or simply take a walk after dinner. Seniors who set even small intentions each morning tend to feel more motivated and fulfilled because their days have purpose. And purpose is one of the strongest predictors of long-term health and happiness. Now let's move into one of my favorite morning habits: gentle strengthening. I know some of you may be thinking, "Doctor, I'm not going to the gym at 6 in the morning." And that's perfectly fine. But even a couple of simple bodyweight exercises at home can do wonders. For example, standing up from a chair without using your hands and then sitting back down slowly. That motion builds strength in your legs, supports your balance, and lowers fall risk. Doing just 5 of those every morning is like giving your muscles a wake-up call. Another easy one is wall push-ups. You simply stand an arm's length from a wall, place your palms on it, and slowly push in and out. It's safe, gentle, and surprisingly effective for keeping your upper body strong. I tell my patients, think of these little moves as investments. They don't take more than a minute or 2, but over time, the benefits add up just like money in the bank. Of course, mornings are also about your emotional energy. I've noticed that seniors who create a little ritual of joy in the morning carry that brightness with them throughout the day. That could be playing a favorite song from your younger years, watering your plants, or even enjoying a quiet moment with your pet. One of my patients, a gentleman in Florida, starts every day by feeding the birds in his backyard. He told me, "It's my way of saying hello to the world." That small act brings him peace and energy, even on tough days. Now let's talk about something often overlooked: posture. After 60, many of us develop rounded shoulders or stiffness in the spine, especially if we spend time sitting. Starting your morning with a posture check can help. Stand tall, roll your shoulders back, and imagine a string gently pulling the top of your head toward the ceiling. Not only does this improve circulation and breathing, but it also helps reduce back and neck pain. And the bonus? Good posture makes you look and feel more confident. Something else I encourage is eating protein early in the day. A lot of traditional American breakfasts are carb-heavy: cereal, bagels, pancakes. They taste good, but they don't keep you full, and they can spike your blood sugar. Instead, try adding eggs, Greek yogurt, or even a smoothie with some protein powder. I've seen patients who used to feel sluggish by mid-morning tell me that just shifting their breakfast to include protein gave them steady energy all the way to lunchtime. Another tip is to get outside if you can, not just for light, but for fresh air. There's a special clarity that comes from breathing in cool morning air. Even 5 minutes on your porch, balcony, or backyard can calm your mind and sharpen your focus. For those in colder states, I tell them to bundle up and step outside, even briefly. It makes a difference, especially for mood and alertness. And while we're on the subject of clarity, let's talk about the brain. Morning is the perfect time for mental exercises because your mind is fresh. You don't need anything complicated, a crossword puzzle, a few pages of a book, or even calling a friend to chat. Keeping the brain active early helps reduce that mental fog many seniors describe. It's like stretching your muscles, but for your brain. One of my patients in Arizona loves Sudoku. She says doing one puzzle over breakfast is her morning coffee for the brain. Now, some of you may be caregivers or living with health challenges, and mornings can feel overwhelming. If that's you, I want you to remember something important. You don't have to do all of these habits at once. Even choosing one or two can make a big difference. Energy isn't about perfection. It's about small, consistent choices that support your body and mind day after day. Another habit I always recommend, especially for people over 60, is mindful pacing. Too often, mornings are treated like a race, rushing to get dressed, rushing to the kitchen, rushing to appointments. But here's the truth. After 60, your body thrives on steadiness, not speed. When you move too fast, you raise the risk of dizziness, falls, or even heart strain. So I often tell my patients, give yourself permission to go slow. Walk to the kitchen with intention. Take your time getting ready, and notice how much calmer your whole morning feels. A patient of mine in Michigan shared that when she stopped rushing, she began enjoying the little moments, like the smell of her coffee brewing or the feel of the sun through her window. Those details might seem small, but they create joy, and joy fuels energy. Let's touch on hydration again, because it's that important. Many seniors believe they only need to drink when they're thirsty. But as we age, our sense of thirst becomes weaker. That means by the time you feel thirsty, your body is already short on water. A simple routine is to keep a filled glass or bottle by your bed each night. Drink it first thing when you wake up. Over time, it becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth. This single habit has helped countless patients reduce headaches, avoid fatigue, and even improve digestion. Speaking of digestion, mornings are the perfect time to support your gut health. After all, a healthy gut means better absorption of nutrients, steadier energy, and a stronger immune system. Adding fiber early in the day, whether it's oatmeal, chia seeds, or a handful of berries, gives your system the boost it needs. I've had patients tell me they felt less bloated and more comfortable just by starting breakfast with fiber. Now, let's not forget about the role of music. This might surprise you, but research has shown that listening to music can lower blood pressure, improve mood, and even sharpen memory. I often encourage my patients to play one or two uplifting songs while they get ready in the morning. Think about your favorite tunes from the 60s, 70s, or 80s, songs that bring back good memories. One gentleman in Texas told me that playing Elvis while shaving put him in such a good mood that his whole day felt brighter. Another piece of advice is to use mornings to connect with people, even briefly. Loneliness is something many seniors quietly struggle with. And mornings can feel especially empty if you live alone. A quick phone call to a friend, sending a good morning text to a loved one, or even chatting with a neighbor can lift your spirits and remind you that you're not alone. These tiny connections make a big difference for mental health and energy. Let's also talk about stretching your mind with gratitude journaling. You don't need to write an essay. Just jotting down one or two things you're thankful for each morning can reframe your mindset. A patient of mine in California keeps a little notebook on her nightstand. Each morning, she writes down something simple like the sound of rain or my granddaughter's smile. She told me it helps her start the day with positivity instead of worry. Finally, I want to remind you that mornings don't have to be complicated. Sometimes the best energy comes from consistency. Waking up around the same time, eating a balanced breakfast, moving your body a little, and giving yourself a moment of peace. The more you repeat these patterns, the more your body learns to expect energy in the morning, rather than sluggishness. It becomes your new normal. Another piece I want to highlight is the role of morning light in regulating sleep. Many seniors tell me they struggle to fall asleep at night or wake up too early. What they don't realize is that the way you expose yourself to light in the morning sets your body clock or circadian rhythm for the whole day. Getting 10 to 15 minutes of natural light within the first hour of waking can help you fall asleep more easily at night and wake up more refreshed. Think of it as giving your body a natural reset button every morning. One of my patients in North Carolina started taking her dog for a short walk as soon as she woke up. She told me that not only did her dog love it, but she began sleeping better within a couple of weeks. That's the power of aligning your body with natural rhythms. Now let's talk about balance. Literally, as we age, our balance can decline, and mornings are the perfect time to work on it while you're fresh. A simple exercise I often teach is to stand near a chair or countertop, lift one foot slightly off the ground, and hold for a few seconds. Switch sides and repeat. Just 30 seconds a day can strengthen the small, stabilizing muscles that keep you steady. One of my patients calls it her teeth brushing for balance, because she does it right after brushing her teeth. It takes no extra time but pays off with confidence and safety. Something else many of us overlook is breathing fresh air deeply. I don't mean shallow chest breathing. I mean filling your lungs completely. Shallow breathing keeps oxygen low, and low oxygen means low energy. Try standing at your window or outside. Close your eyes and take 3 slow, deep breaths, filling your belly first, then your chest. You'll notice an immediate lift, almost like flipping on a switch inside your body. And then there's the habit of mindfulness. I know the word mindfulness can sound intimidating, but really, it's just paying attention to the present moment. Maybe that's savoring your first sip of coffee instead of gulping it down, or noticing the warmth of the shower on your skin. Seniors who practice mindfulness in little ways often tell me they feel calmer, less rushed, and more in control of their mornings. Now, I want to touch on something very practical: medication routines. Many seniors take 1 or more medications in the morning, and how you take them matters. Always follow your doctor's instructions. But here's a tip I give many patients. Pair your medicine with another habit, like your morning glass of water. That way, you're less likely to forget. I had a gentleman from Illinois who kept missing his blood pressure pill. Once he started keeping it next to his water glass by the bed, he never missed a dose again. Small changes like this protect your health and make mornings smoother. Another underrated habit is stretching your spine. Throughout the night, your spine compresses slightly, and those first few minutes out of bed can feel stiff. Try reaching your arms overhead, then gently bending side to side. This opens up your back, improves circulation, and can reduce morning aches. Think of it as giving your back a little good morning hug. And here's something you might not expect: making your bed. It may sound trivial, but research has shown that starting the day with one small accomplishment creates momentum for the rest of the day. Plus, it keeps your space tidy, which helps your mind feel clear. One of my patients in New York told me, "When I make my bed, I feel like I'm already winning, even before breakfast." Before we move further, I want you to pause and reflect. What part of your current morning feels rushed, heavy, or draining? Once you know that, you can choose just one small habit we've talked about and try it tomorrow. Little by little, these shifts create mornings that feel brighter, calmer, and more energized. Something else I want to talk about is hydration through food. We already discussed drinking water first thing, but did you know certain foods can actually help you stay hydrated in the morning too? Fruits like oranges, melons, or berries are packed with water as well as vitamins. I often suggest adding a small fruit bowl to breakfast, not just for hydration, but also because the natural sugars give a gentle, steady lift of energy without the crash you'd get from pastries or donuts. And let's be honest, We all enjoy a sweet treat now and then, but making that your first meal of the day can send your blood sugar on a roller coaster. A patient of mine in Pennsylvania used to grab a donut with his coffee every morning. By 10 o'clock, he was exhausted. We switched his routine to Greek yogurt with fruit, and he told me, "Doctor, I can finally make it to lunch without yawning." Small changes can really change the way your day feels. Another important point is joint care. Many seniors wake up stiff in the knees, hips, or hands. Instead of just pushing through it, mornings are the best time to loosen things up. Try gently opening and closing your hands a few times, rotating your wrists, or doing slow knee lifts while sitting in a chair. These little movements send fluid back into your joints, easing stiffness and making walking more comfortable. I call it oiling the hinges. Let's not forget about the power of laughter. Yes, laughter. Starting your day with something that makes you smile or chuckle can lower stress hormones, release feel-good endorphins, and give you a natural energy boost. One of my patients in Arizona has a routine. Every morning, he watches a 2-minute funny clip online while having breakfast. He says it's better than a second cup of coffee. Joy is medicine too, and mornings are the perfect time to dose yourself with it. I also want to talk about skincare, because after 60, the skin can become drier and more fragile. Applying a light moisturizer in the morning, especially after your shower, helps protect it and keeps you comfortable. For those of you spending time outdoors, don't forget sunscreen, even if it's cloudy. Protecting your skin not only prevents discomfort, but also lowers your risk of skin cancer. I know many seniors grew up in a time when sunscreen wasn't common, but starting now still makes a huge difference. Chawat, here's another tip. Keep your morning screen light. I know it's tempting to grab the phone or turn on the TV first thing, but too much screen time immediately floods your brain with information and stress. Instead, delay it. Give yourself at least 20 to 30 minutes of quiet before checking news or emails. A woman I see in Ohio started doing this, and she told me, "It's like I reclaimed a piece of my morning." That piece becomes energy later in the day. Finally, let's touch on gratitude again, but in a different form. Saying thank you, not just thinking it, can transform your mood. Whether it's thanking your spouse for making coffee or even thanking God or the universe for a new day, speaking gratitude out loud sets a powerful tone. It reminds you that life, even with its challenges, still holds gifts worth noticing. And that mindset alone can carry you through the toughest of days. So as you can see, mornings after 60 aren't just about waking up. They're about creating an environment through movement, nourishment, calmness, connection, and joy that sets the stage for your entire day. Let's talk about temperature, because how you handle it in the morning can affect your energy. Many of my patients in colder states like Minnesota or Maine wake up feeling sluggish during winter mornings. One simple trick is a warm shower, followed by a quick splash of cool water at the end. That change in temperature stimulates circulation, wakes up the nervous system, and leaves you feeling alert. On the other hand, if you live in a hot, humid state like Florida, opening a window early when the air is still cool can help refresh both your body and mind. Another habit I often recommend is planning your meals early in the day. Not cooking, just planning. While you're having breakfast, think ahead about what you'll eat for lunch and dinner. Seniors who plan their meals in the morning tend to make healthier choices and avoid grabbing processed foods later. A patient of mine in California started writing down her meals on a sticky note each morning. She told me, "Doctor, I feel like I'm finally in control of my health one day at a time." Now let's look at the role of gratitude in movement. Earlier, I mentioned keeping a gratitude journal, but pairing gratitude with motion multiplies the effect. For example, during your morning walk, instead of just focusing on steps, try noticing one thing you're thankful for with each block. The trees, the fresh air, the neighbors waving. This transforms a simple walk into a moment of peace and joy while still fueling your body with energy. And let's not forget brain stimulation. After 60, our brains crave novelty. Doing the same crossword puzzle every day is good, but occasionally try switching it up. Maybe a new card game, a word search, or learning a few phrases in another language. I had a gentleman in New Jersey who started practicing Spanish each morning with a phone app. He said not only did it sharpen his memory, but it made conversations with his grandchildren, who were learning Spanish in school, much more fun. Now here's something practical you might not have thought about. Shoes. Yes, shoes. Many seniors spend mornings walking around the house barefoot or in slippers with no support. This can increase stiffness in the feet and pain in the knees or hips. I recommend supportive indoor shoes or sandals, especially if you have hardwood or tile floors. Starting the morning with good support under your feet makes every step through the day easier. Another powerful habit is setting aside a small moment of silence. Not just quiet, but true silence. No radio, no TV, no background noise. Even 2 minutes of sitting in silence, perhaps with your hand over your heart, helps calm the nervous system. I once had a patient in Arizona who said this 2-minute ritual was like her morning medicine for the soul. It grounded her before she faced the busyness of the day. Let's touch on another one: connection to nature. Seniors who start the day outdoors, even briefly, often report better mood and less anxiety. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just watering your garden, looking at the sunrise, or listening to birdsong can shift your emotional state. One gentleman in Kentucky built a simple habit of standing by his rose bushes for 5 minutes each morning. He told me it gave him a sense of continuity, something steady and beautiful, no matter what else happened in life. And finally, for this segment, let's talk about mindset. I remind my patients, the way you talk to yourself in the morning shapes your entire day. If the first thought you have is, "I'm tired" or "I'm old," your body will follow that script. But if you replace it with, "Today, I'm going to take one step toward feeling better," you set yourself up for success. A woman in Colorado began saying out loud, "I choose energy today," each morning in her bathroom mirror. It might sound simple, but she swears it changed her outlook. As we come toward the close of our time together, I want you to pause for a moment and think about everything we've touched on. These aren't just habits on a checklist. They're little gifts you can give yourself each morning. A glass of water to refresh your body, a stretch to ease your joints, a quiet breath to calm your mind, a word of gratitude to lift your spirit. None of these take much time, but they add up in powerful ways. I've seen this again and again with my patients. Seniors who once felt drained by mid-morning began finding more energy, more clarity, and even more joy when they embraced just a few of these changes. I think of one couple from Ohio who started walking together each morning after retirement. At first, they thought it was just for exercise, but they told me it became their favorite part of the day because it gave them time to talk, to laugh, and to start their mornings connected. Their bodies grew stronger, yes, but so did their marriage. That's the beauty of these habits. They're not just about health, they're about life. They make the everyday moments more enjoyable. Waking up without stiffness, having the energy to cook a favorite meal, feeling steady on your feet when your grandchild runs up for a hug, or simply having a clear head to enjoy a book or a quiet afternoon. These are the rewards, and they are worth it. So if you're sitting there wondering where to begin, remember this: you don't have to do it all at once. Choose 1 or 2 things that feel doable for you tomorrow morning. Maybe it's sipping water before coffee. Maybe it's taking a moment on the porch for fresh air. Maybe it's a gentle stretch before you put on your slippers. Small steps, done consistently, lead to big changes. And you are absolutely capable of making those changes. You've already taken the first step just by being here, by listening, and by opening yourself to the idea that mornings can be brighter, healthier, and more energizing at this stage of life. That tells me you care about yourself, and that's something I deeply respect. I want to thank you sincerely for sharing this time with me today. I know your mornings are precious, and the fact that you chose to spend these minutes with me means a lot. My hope is that as you move forward, you'll carry not just the tips we discussed, but also the belief that you deserve mornings filled with strength, peace, and purpose. If you found even one idea today that you'd like to try, I'd love to hear about it. Share it in the comments so others in our community can be inspired too. If this video brought you comfort or encouragement, consider giving it a like. It helps more seniors find this kind of support. And if you'd like to join me again for more conversations like this, I'd be honored if you subscribed and became part of our growing family here. Until we meet again, I wish you health, joy, and many mornings that begin with a smile. Take good care of yourself, my friends, and I'll see you in the next video.